Sills! Let me get that screen a little bit fixed up a little bit better. There we go. What a weekend in football. Not so good for me on Saturday. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the program. But some telling games. Some telling games that told me a lot about who the best teams in the National Football League are. Before we get started, I do want to make sure that we announce our winners. Tomorrow we'll start the process up again for qualifying our great friends with our Hooters gift certificates. Congratulations to you, Mike and Don. You have been chosen as our winners of the week for our Hooters gift certificates, some merchandise. We appreciate that. And we will start that bad puppy up tomorrow. Tuesday through Friday, you get to qualify. We announce the winners every single football Monday. I want to start this program out by saying this. And I want you to understand where I'm going to go here with your Philadelphia Eagle team. We're going to cover that Niners and Cowboys, the rest of the league, promise you. I think the Rams are good. I think that Rams team has a shot to win 9 or 10 ball games. I think they're good. That's a well-coached team. They don't have exceptional talent, but they're good. They're a good football team. Okay? They're good. I think that was a really good win. That was a high-quality win against a high-quality team. And what they did in that game, they did things in that game they haven't done all year. Okay? So beating that Rams team, that's a super quality win. That team's going to win some ball games. And I mean a lot of games. They could have double digits. Like when I look at that team, the Rams might make the playoffs. Let me give you some of my takeaways here now. Awesome opening series for the Birds. Got Goddard involved. They ran the ball well. Swift is becoming more of an important cog in the offense. That's the first time that offense, in my opinion, has looked good for 60 minutes. That was a well-constructed game plan. That was well-constructed in the adjustments. When they were doing certain things to them, they countered them. The second half is the best coaching on both sides of the ball for the Eagles all year. Your pass defense was awful in the first half. He knew that. So what did this guy do? I got to bring pressure. We just can't sit back here and allow these guys to pick us apart because they will. What did he do? Second half adjustments. And you know how he adjusted? Not with talent, by blitzing pressure. Got to tell you, man, that was absolutely the best Sean Desai has looked so far. And it's not so much on what they did in the second half. It's the fact that they made the adjustments in game. That was the best and most effective I've seen a Philadelphia Eagle D coordinator when it came to adjusting, and the offensive coordinator, in 2.5 years. Excellent. Okay? Cooper Kupp looked like a stud in the first half. In the second half, he was shut down. Adjustments. As for Jalen Hurts, he was sensational. Undefensible. When they had that 17-14 lead and they were in the third quarter, and he makes that first down scramble, you cannot defend that. And how about the dime he threw on the sideline that ended up getting called back, or he dropped it? I think it was AJ. He dropped it on the sideline. He couldn't have walked that ball out there and handed it to him any better than throwing it 40 yards like that. That was the best game I've seen him play. It looked like the Super Bowl. He was sensational. And I don't care about the amount of carries. When you have a guy doing that and he plays like that, man, wow. I mean, I kept doing this every single time that they needed something, he ran the ball. Outstanding. Outstanding. He was outstanding. Swift is a complete upgrade from Miles Sanders. Holy shit. He's the Eagles' version of Christian McCaffrey. He's getting better and better and better and better and better and better every week. You know, you look at the numbers and you're like, 108 cells, I think, in total offense he had from scrimmage. Yeah, man, but the way they were using him, throwing passes to him, middle screens, tosses, running the ball, he is a complete back, man. Man, I tell you, he is, wow, what a football player that kid is. You got that guy for a fourth rounder on draft day? You couldn't have drafted a better guy in the first round to play running back. Maybe Bijan? The kid from Bama? Holy cow. He's a great-looking player and a great-looking addition to that Eagle offense. Tell you what, man, Brian Johnson had a spectacular day. Sean Desai for 60 minutes. Watch this. Your pass defense in the first half sucked. You want me to give him a grade for the game? A. He made the adjustments needed to stop that shit and to stop the dam from breaking. And he did. That's coaching. That's knowing personnel. Hey, I don't have the guys to sit back here and sit in zone defense and play that umbrella defense. Stafford and Kupp and these guys are going to rip us a new one. I got to bring pressure. And he did. It was excellent. It was just a fantastic first half of football offensively. Really, the entire ball game. I said this, and I know some of you thought it was hyperbole on draft day when I said Jalen Carter is the best defensive player in the draft. His off-the-step, first step to get to the backfield is faster than Jerome Brown. He's not the next Jerome Brown. He's better. I think he has the capability to be better. Jerome would run around a few blocks. This kid runs through people. He is a sensational football player. He might be the second best defensive lineman you've had in the last 40 years. And that's saying a lot because everyone knows who I'm talking about. He is without a doubt. Hey, when you think of what the Cowboys drafted, and I told you that Mozzie Smith kid sucks. I told you that kid has no first step. And then you watch Carter's first step. He's a quick twitch kid. He got great hands. Man, what a football player. I'm telling you, man, he's the best defensive lineman you've had since Reggie White. That guy is unbelievable talented. He's not going to put the sacks up that Reggie did. Shit, you know what? He might. But it's harder in the interior than it is on the perimeter to get those big numbers in sacks. He is wow. What a player. The Eagle offensive line was spectacular. That Sue Peta kid, holy shit. Aaron Donald was a non-factor. Aaron Donald was running around. Do you know what Peta did to the guy? Opeta did? You know what Opeta did to the guy? Do you know what he did? He had been beating him up so bad. Aaron Donald started running around blocks versus the run. He started running around picking sides because the guy was dominating him. That kid Opeta dominated Aaron Donald. He dominated a guy who's having a good year. Do you know how much money that kid made yesterday? That kid has made himself the starter, even when you get Cam Jurgens back. You're not taking that guy out after he kicks the shit out of Aaron Donald. I mean, that kid just won himself. Let me get this right. You go from the third team behind Steen and Jurgens to being a starter on not on the Giants O-line, the Philadelphia Eagle O-line. That kid just made himself $20 million per year when his deal's up. He continues to get better and play like that. Dude, there's two dudes that are going to get paid handsomely on that Eagle team. You know who they are? DeAndre Swift and that guy. Holy cow. What a job, kid. I would have, dude, you don't do that to guys that are generational players and kick the shit out of them like that in your first true start. He was sensational. He scooped and slipped him. If you go back and watch the 22 on him, Aaron Donald started picking sides, which means you're in his head. Will goes for at least a week. Well, that's the kind of game, Will, you put in your back pocket and you tell people, I killed Aaron Donald. I killed Aaron Donald. I thought he was good last week. Did you see the plays when Opeta was on an island with Donald? He was so good. Moved his feet, slid him, was patient. Shit, man. Hey, Jeff Stoutland. Sign on the line and put a number next to it, whatever you want. I'll pay you $4 million a year to be my old line coach for eternity. If you want, we'll make this a Supreme Court hire. You can do this until you're dead. Okay? You can do this until you're dead. Does the NFL give out lifetime deals? I don't know, man, but I'll tell you what, I ain't letting that guy loose. Thanks, Chip Kelly. The only thing that Chip Kelly did was bring that guy in. Okay? Man. And get this, the Eagle has landed. No, not Armstrong. The Eagle has landed. How about late in the game? When you needed situational sacks, there's Reddick closing the door on the Rams. Wow. Dude, He makes some of the most impactful sacks. Hey, I'm going to say it one more time to you guys. I think the Rams are good. I think they're a good team. They're going to win. Hey, they're going to win 10 games in the NFC. That's a good team. It's so well coached. The Eagles, in my opinion, they out-adjusted them. Out-adjusted them in the second half. The coaches started using the roster and not sticking to the fundamentals of their schemes. They started using players. Swift and Goddard. AJ. I'll tell you this, I was a little disappointed to see Devontae Smith whining up and down the sidelines, though. I was a little disappointed that he needed a bear hug to get his feelings not feeling so bad because he didn't have any catches and he had one target. Hey, man, shut the F up, man. That's the first time. I'm going to give you a pass on that because I love you and I think you're a quality kid. But this is pro football, guy. I get it. It's a wide receiver position. Easy. Don't be that guy. You're not that guy. Am I going to give him a pass? Absolutely. But if you need a pat on the head, this ain't college, son. If you get no catches and you win games and you go undefeated, I don't give a shit what your numbers are. No whining. That's for the Cowboys. Sirianni goes over, puts his arm on him because he needs a hug? What do you think this is? Family intervention? Don't want to see that again. He's too high quality of a guy. Moping, and you're winning. Hated it. Hated it. Okay, hated it. Love the kid. Would I want him on my... Absolutely. Would I want him to be a leader? Absolutely. It's the first sign of weakness I've seen in Devontae Smith since he's been an Eagle. And I get it. I do. But man, this is like everyone says. So let me ask you this. This is all you have to know about the Eagle offensive personnel on your team. Jalen Hurts gets killed for not throwing for 4,000 yards every year, right? Don't you think he wants to have 5,000 passing yards so that he can go around with his boys telling you, hey, I got 5,000 passing yards too, or 4,500 passing yards? Don't you think he wants to go around saying that? How many times does a 4-0, 5-0 quarterback have to answer for not throwing for 450 yards? He doesn't. He answers to that. But his ego's not where that is an issue. Donald said he knew how to stop the brotherly shove. Kelsey said, oh, yeah? Show me. Kelsey 2-0 versus top DTs. Aaron Donald was a non-factor. He should have shut his mouth because he got annihilated again. Got annihilated again. Hey, wait a minute, Kevin. It wasn't behavior of Devontae Smith. Let's get this different here. Devontae Smith, that wasn't behavior. That was a moment. It's a far cry from watching Antonio Brown blowing up on the sidelines or watching people blowing up on the sidelines and continuing their antics. That's not behavior. That's a moment. We're all entitled to a moment on the sidelines. You get moments because things are said. Nothing's that you just, that's not behavior. Devontae Smith had a moment. It's okay to have moments. Okay? Yeah, breaking iPads. Dude, the only guy that gets away with that shit is a guy with 6 rings or 7 rings. That's the only guy that could get away with that. So it's not, Devontae Smith is not a behavior issue on the sidelines. Okay? He's not. Okay? Smith had 5 targets, 1 catch. I think he was whining about missing a couple of those catchable balls. Okay. All right. I don't need my coach to come over, pat me on the head, and tell me it's okay, and here's a whoopee. I don't need that. It's a professional football. I get paid $1 million a year to do that. Go sit down, coach. This isn't bitty football. You don't have to make me feel good and give me warm, fuzzy hugs. It looks unbecoming of a professional athlete. I hated it. By the way, how about that Eagle crowd? The Rams couldn't hear because the Eagle crowd was too loud at SoHi Stadium. Okay? Fantastic fan base. Fantastic fan base. Let's go by the numbers now. Fantastic fan base. Can you imagine being in a stadium that's brand new, the most expensive stadium in the NFL, and it's not even a home field advantage for you? Quez Watkins has to go. Sirianni was livid. Quez Watkins, man, I told you the only reason he's on the team is because he's got great speed. He's a marshmallow. He doesn't fight for anything, including his job. Yo, Sil's up, Quez Watkins. Seriously, I'd cut his ass. I don't need that behavior and non-factor and non-toughness on my team. He's such a schwimp. Man, I hate his attitude, his personality, not fighting for footballs, the whole damn thing. You see what I just said about Devontae? I want 10 of those guys. I want 10 of those guys. Him, I don't want him near my team. Do me a favor, Quez. Go get me a glass of water. Okay? He had a clear lane for the first down and ran to the sideline. It's because he's a wimp. That guy is a wimp. You think there's, dude, the one thing that you won't never say about 2 teams in the NFC, the Niners and the Eagles, there ain't no wimps on them teams. Well, wait a minute. You got one. What's up with Quez Watkins? Quez Watkins needs to be tied to a chair and someone kick his ass for about 10 days to toughen his ass up and then let him loose. That guy needs his ass kicked. Ask him if he's ever been in a street fight or anything. Most notably, that guy's probably been in a pillow fight. That guy's been in a pillow fight, not a fist fight. Holy cow, what a wimp. Total wimp. Okay? By the numbers, man, did they flip the page on what they did last week to this week? And again, I'll tell you this, that Rams team is way better than the Commanders. That's the best team you've played. I think they're good. I think that's a good football team. They just ran into an elite roster. Okay? 23-14. Not indicative. Hey, get this. You know how I told you that every game that you played in, you know how every game that you played in prior to that Rams game was a close game? This 23-14, didn't it feel like 40-14? Didn't it feel like 40-14 at the end? Red zone offense needs some work. I saw that 2 for 6. They're not good in the red zone. As you get into the meat of your schedule, you're going to have to start scoring touchdowns because you're not going to beat some of those really good teams kicking field goals. It's great to have Josh Norman, though, because you know why? Josh Norman's going to win one of those big games for you when you're in a back and forth. Okay? When it goes back and forth. Okay? First downs, 28-17. Complete domination. How about this one? You have no chance to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Jake Elliott, excuse me. Thank you. Sorry about that, Q. Q ball, thank you. You have no chance to beat the Philadelphia Eagles when you run 78 plays and hold another team to 55. You have no chance. Zero chance. Zero chance of winning a football game when you have that difference in plays. You ran 23 more plays than they did. Unbelievable. 454 in total yards to 249. So you're telling me you held that Rams team to under 290 yards in total offense. Another spectacular performance. They can't run the ball, but they can throw it. Passing yards, 295. That's with sacks. Jalen threw for more. He threw for 300. As the game got out, it looked like Stafford was going to throw for 375 yards. 195 in passing yards, counting the sacks. Kelsey went off on the sideline. I think it had a lot to do with the red zone offense because he was complaining about kicking field goals. We're not going to win later on if we're going to continue to do this. I think Kelsey's pissed off about the red zone offense. Okay? Rushing attempts. How about this? 39 rushing attempts. 38 passing attempts. Complete balance. 159 rushing to 54. Best run stopping defense in the NFL right now resides in Philadelphia. Time of possession, 37.55 to 22.05. Outstanding. Now here's the individual. Hurts, 25 of 38, 303, touchdown. The pick, when you play like that, I don't give a shit about that pick. I could care less. 87.9 rating. Stafford, 21 of 50, 21 of 37, 222, 2 touchdowns, 92.4 rating. But here's where Hurts is even more deadlier. This guy had 375 yards in total offense. 15 of 72 and a touchdown, 4.8 a carry. You cannot defend that. It's impossible to defend. Hey, Bud Quez Watkins here. You don't even know about pillow fights. It's obvious so many things could go wrong. It's like the outsiders stay away from the zippers, leather, Bud. Y'all going to trip on me, but I think Covey needs looks in the slot, especially in those plays like the screen Welker and Edelman started to run. Covey has gigantic. Yeah, no, he's a tough kid. Maybe throw him out there just to see what he has. I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with that. I would. I'd be okay with that. Smith, how about this? Smith, 7. Look at Swift. So Swift touched the ball 23 times for 108 yards in total offense from the line of scrimmage. He had 6 catches for 38 and 17 carries for 70. Dude, do you understand if you keep doing shit like that, that guy's going to have 1,000 yards rushing and 450 yards receiving and about 50 catches. $15 million. Only one MVP this game. Opeta. I got game balls. He was spectacular. He was spectacular. Spectacular. Fun fact, Brittany Covey leads the league in total punt return yards. It's crazy. Since he was a crash test dummy last year to where he is now, He's evolving into that position. Outstanding. Goddard, 8 catches, 117, 14-6. He took out all of his frustration in one game and showed you why he's considered one of the top 5. Now, here's what happens, though. A guy like Devontae has to take not a second seat, but a 6th seat because Swift got his catches too. There's a lot of footballs to go around here. And that's why you have to have an even keeled and a level-headed guy like Hurts as your quarterback. You can't have an off-the-chains guy at quarterback here because there's going to be a lot of egos that have to be fed, not during game day, okay, but during preparation week. Because you got to keep telling them. And you know what a thing like Goddard does for the rest of the squad? Here's the thing that Goddard does for the rest of the squad. You didn't get yours week 1. You didn't get yours week 2. You didn't get yours week 3. You didn't get yours week 4, but it came. And so if you're a player, you keep putting your hard work and your preparation in, you know it's coming. It's coming. Swift is becoming more and more part of the offense. And it is absolutely going to benefit everybody, including Jalen Hurts. Man, I'm telling you, that 17-14 part of the game in the third quarter, when he took off to get that first down and he broke that tackle, went up the sidelines, I just went like this, shit. So you got a guy that's throwing for 300 yards and does that, one of a kind in the league. I watched Lamar Jackson in the earlier game. They were playing the Steelers. And I'm going to say something here that I never thought I would ever say. You're right. He is better. Hurts is better than Lamar Jackson. He's better. He's better. You're right. He's better. He's a better player. He's more accurate. He knows he as long as they allow him to do what he did yesterday, he's a better player. Okay? He is a better football player. He's not a better winner. Lamar's won 75% of his football games. Don't go there. He's won more games as a percentage and in total than what Jalen has. He's not a better winner. That's not a fair comment or a factual comment. Okay? He's a better player, though. You know why? He's a better passer. Jalen Hurts is a better passer than Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson led the NFL in TD passes. Okay? Kupp, 8 catches, 118. All that work done in the first half. They really did. Let me do this now. And let me get into the coordinators. By the way, why do you want to talk about Quez Watkins? I talk about winners. Why in the world do you want to talk about a guy who's a coward? Why do I mean, really? I don't talk about losers or cowards or non-tough dudes like that. He has not one redeeming quality about him that I like as a player, except for his speed. Other than that, he's got marshmallow hands. He's got a marshmallow mentality. He never fights for anything. Why do you want to keep talking about him? I mean, he's a faster Jalen Reagor. Quez Watkins is a faster Jalen Reagor. It's like watching the Cowardly Lion. Oh, actually, it's the Tin Man and the Cowardly Lion. This guy's got no heart, no balls. Enough. Enough. The experiment of the Quezzer. I'm done. I'm done, man. Dude, that guy, when I watch him play, gives me agita. Toto, Dorothy's dog, had more balls. Okay. Enough with that. I'm sick of it. Don't bring him up again because I hate him. The coordinators. By the way, hate him as a player. I don't know him from a can of paint. The coordinators. Let's start with Brian Johnson. I thought he called his best game. I thought him and Hurts were on the same page. I think Hurts just said, I'm playing Jalen Hurts football. There had to have been a come to Jesus conversation, okay, about how he was going to play that game because Jalen Hurts did not look like Jalen Hurts of 2023. He looked like Jalen Hurts of 2022, okay? Twiz, I don't believe that they outcoached McVay in the first half, but for 60 minutes, I think the Eagle coaching staff got the upper hand. And they started using their personnel. And they did a great job. Like, I told you this, by the numbers here, that 23-14 score, to me, it felt like it was 40. I felt like it was a 40 spot. Because as the game kept going on, okay? Well, here, when people go like this, and this is the idiotic ways people look at things, how many people in here actually thought it was an even fight with personnel and roster? The only reason that they kept that game close is because of coaching. That roster's not that hot. It's a good team. But at the end of the day, you don't have the same personnel that the Eagles do if you're the Rams. So when you say outcoached, you didn't outcoach them. You out-adjusted them. Because the only reason they were in that ball game was because of coaching. The Rams don't have Eagle personnel. Not anywhere near it, actually. Okay? So you're going to get a very well-coached team every single time you play Sean McVay. Like I said, and I made sure I started the program out by telling you, I think the Rams are good. That's the best team you've played since the Super Bowl. I think the Rams are good. They're going to win some games. I'm going to get to Sean Desai here in a minute. What adjustments do you think Desai made at halftime to make the second half so dramatically different? Relative, I'll get to that. We couldn't capitalize. We're in the red zone. I told you that that's been a problem for the team. Has been red zone issues. They're not very good down there right now. Eagles have to improve the red zone. Field goals won't beat the Dolphins, Bills, not even maybe the Cowboys. That's what Tone said. So here, let me finish on Brian Johnson. The ability to get the ball to Swift the way they did, get Goddard going, finding AJ, all of that. Hurts, who was accurate again. You know, Jalen, am I right? Guys, do me a favor. Was Jalen hanging around that 67-7 number again in completion percentage? Was he hanging around there? Was he hanging around that that number again? Because, you know, for him, he's getting more. 66, that's fantastic. So he hung out at 66% in his passes. 66 percentage, like I said, you're right around 7 out of every 10 passes are being completed. And you're running a ball for 75 yards. You can't defend that. You just cannot defend that. Patrick Mahomes doesn't have that dynamic. Watch this. This is where some of you get aggravated with me. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. And I said this on my Twitter, and people got offended by it. And I said this. Jalen Hurts is the best running back. My exact tweet was Jalen Hurts, quarterback for the Eagles, is the best running back in the NFL. And people go like this, you're talking shit on him. Let me tell you something. When you're a 67% completion percentage quarterback and you throw for 300 yards and you're the best running back in open space, the way he gets open, the way he extends series, that's a compliment. Allen can't do it. Burrow can't do it. Mahomes can't do it. Is that really a bad take? Okay. How is that a bad take? I'm going to get to Brock Purdy. He was sensational. He was sensational. He had one shit pass in that game. And I'm going to get to 49ers and Eagles and who the better team is here in a minute. Okay? Here are my game footballs. If I were to pass game balls out. Let's start on defense. Jalen Carter, Jesus criminy, exceeding expectations. You haven't had a defensive lineman burst onto the scene in Philadelphia like this since Reggie White. He is such a great-looking ball player. Absolutely a sensational ball player. Okay? Sensational. Hassan Reddick. Once again, here's Reddick in critical situations when the Rams needed a touchdown in the fourth quarter. What's this guy do? He gets 2 sacks. Situational pass rushing. Man, I mean it. I'm going to say something about him a little bit later here as we talk about the 49ers here in a second, because I'm going to put it all together. And our other topic is going to be about the 49ers and the Eagles. I'm going to give a game ball to both linebackers. Nicholas Morrow and Zach Cunningham are proving me wrong. They're getting better every week. Getting better and 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 better every week. They're making plays out there. They're not the best pass coverage guys, but you weren't great last year. They're getting better and better, man. Okay? They're getting better and better. Reed Blankenship continuing to prove that he can play. Absolutely. A guy who gets a dud, Darius Slay. I told you he's out of gas, and I'm concerned about him. I don't think he's very good. I think he makes flash plays now. I think your corners, I don't know. Darius Slay looks old. Okay? He looks old. That guy is playing his last year in Philly. I said that at the beginning of the year, that I think this guy's toast. And I saw the beginning of the end last year. And I'm seeing it now. Tell me I'm wrong. Slay looks toast. I don't see it. Okay? You got a problem at that position. And with Jalen, Waddle, and Tyreek Hill, and some of these other shit, even the guy now, the quarterback for the Jets, blows out loud. But you got a good receiver rolling in too. And by the way, I'm going to give him one benefit of the doubt here with this. for one thing here. He does play the number one guy. So you do factor that in. Slay's always lined up on the number one guy. You know, Slay could always go, hey, man, I'll tell you what, you give me wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 2. I'll show you what I can do. But he's lining up against the Justin Jeffersons. He's lining up against all the big-time guys in the league. So you got to kind of temper that a little bit, but still the amount of space he's giving. Okay? Okay? Look at Brian going like this. I'm mad because he roasted me. Why would I be mad by telling the truth that he's getting his ass kicked this year? How dumb is that? Roasted me? I got 1 million views on that tweet. Thank you very much. Content, kid. You call it roasting? I call it conversation. That's the difference between me and you, kid. Somebody has a posting on my Twitter page that gets me 1 million views. Okay? 1 million views. And this guy goes roasted me. Hey, one day you'll understand what content is and what I'm about. I'm not about any of that shit. I don't care about that guy. I don't give a shit about that. So I think both our cornerbacks have been shaky. I do too. Would you trade one of you can't, hey, Chaos, you can't do that right now in season with that kind of massive turnover to go and try to move 2 different cornerbacks in season. You got to ride this thing out. Those decisions should have been made, or you should have brought in some depth so that if you were going to make a decision, you would already have guys in place that understood what's being asked of them. Okay? To make a move like that would change the entire dynamic. It would be like this. Dude, Nakobe Dean has to be scheduled to come back. I'm not playing that guy. Not at all. Not the way that these 2 guys are playing. Your linebackers are getting better and better and better. And now, I will say this about Nakobe Dean being back. I would make this point to you about Dean. Those guys, the only thing Zach Cunningham and Nicholas Morrow have done is made me do this. Instead of when Dean went down, well, as soon as Dean gets back, I'm going to put him back in. The thing now that they've done to the coaching staff, they've done this now. Well, let's see how they keep playing. And if any of these guys have a drop-off, that's when you put Dean in, and I'd be okay with that. I'd totally be all right with that. That's how I think you should handle this. Let this thing, you got a hot hand going at linebacker right now. Okay? You got a hot hand going at linebacker. And I was asked the question about what Sean Desai did in the second half. Let me tell you what he did, which is ballsy. And you got to give him credit for this because it's ballsy on what he did. You ready? He knew when he was watching those wide receivers, the BYU kid and Cooper Kupp and some of the other guys, he saw what they were doing. They were getting enormous space. And get this, he saw both your corners weren't really good in coverage. And they were just getting killed. So what did he do? He started bringing pressure. He started bringing pressure because he knew the O-line had a backup center. He knew that the 2 defensive tackles in the middle, I'll tell you what, Milton Williams played a heck of a game. He's not getting enough love. Okay, Milton Williams played a heck of a ball game in there. I was awfully impressed with him. Okay? Was awfully impressed with him. And we're going to get to the Niners here in a second. How in the world do you think Lane Johnson beat the shit out of Nick Bosa when you had only 250 yards in total offense? How do you think you killed him? I mean, you're out of your lowest output in offense last year was against the 49ers. You scored because of turnovers and short fields. You didn't beat up that 49er defense. Where? Where did you beat up that 49er defense? When it came to dominating at the point of attack, that's not true. Okay, that's not true. That's why we need a safety to mask the decline of the corners. It's becoming an issue. Marshall, but he saw that. I give Sean Desai, first half, not the best. Second half, for the overall game, that was incredible. That was a great, great, great ball game. By the way, I'm going to get to the 49ers Cowboy game here in a minute. Then we're going to tie it all in. Fred Warner, holy shit. That guy is a machine. He is impressive. Impressive. That's an impressive football player. Wow. Wreaked havoc. Wreaked havoc. Let me get to that game. Then we're going to tie it all together here with Eagles versus 49ers. Here it is. That was one of the most demoralizing defeats I've ever seen the Dallas Cowboys take. That was demoralizing. Demoralizing. 42-10. You know how people say this? Well, I'm just going to throw the tapes away. We're starting to throw a little bit too many tapes away for the Dallas Cowboys. So now you want to throw away the Cardinal tape. Now you want to throw away the 49er tape. That's the problem in Dallas. They don't address their mistakes. That's what Kelsey was doing on the sidelines. Kelsey was on the sidelines bitching about, get this, you know when people are in here and they're saying to me, Sil's 5-0. Well, why is your center bitching when he's winning a game, having flown 3,600 miles, and he's bitching at his head coach and his O-line coach and his teammates because they're not good in the red zone? Why is it he's bitching too? He was bitching too. We've got to be better if we're going to win a Super Bowl. But some of you in here take that as an insult. It's frustrating when you see a Hall of Famer doing it. And you guys look at me and go, Sills, we're 5-0 and you're ripping us. Your own freaking center was ripping the team. That's a prime example of a guy chasing a ring. Kelsey knows what's coming. He knows they cannot afford to be weak in the red zone, especially with the better teams coming up. Amen. Amen. Another guy, 5-0. Why is your Hall of Fame center bitching about your performance in the red zone? Tension is good, holds everyone accountable. Absolutely. 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 Here's my offensive game balls. Before I get to the 49ers and Eagles here. Jalen Hurts, right out of the top. My second game ball. Suopeta. He could start on every single football. Kelsey was also upset about the staff getting plays in late, caused a delay of game. That's championship mentality there. Love it. Suopeta, man. I couldn't be more impressed with a player. Playing against an elite defensive football player like that and kicking his fucking ass. Holy shit. That's the best performance by an O-lineman so far this year is by Opeta. because of the player he's playing on. Dude, man, that guy just made himself. You know what Opeta did in that game right there? I have to give you guys some context to this. You know what that guy did for himself? He just became a 10-year NFL veteran with that game. They're going to always put that tape on when they're evaluating and looking, whatever happens to him in Philly. This guy killed Aaron Donald. And Aaron Donald's been playing some of the best DT of his career this year. Dude, Opeta won himself a starting job. Sorry, Juergens, you are not getting that job back because I don't really think you've been that hot in there. This guy's been sensational. That was a sensational performance. Look at this. Did he have the best performance of any player on the field? Have to go Hurts, but he's second. Sensational because of the people he was playing on. Man. Hey, what's his size, Tone? How big is he? How tall and how much does that guy weigh? Man, no, K. Robinson, Opeta wasn't good. He was sensational. Dan with 1K, stop talking sense, man. Hey, he's 6'4", 325. I thought he would a little taller, but that's okay. That'll cut it. Hey, man, I told you this, guys, he's 305. Hey, guys, I told you this a long time ago. When I see something that was a great performance, and I think the Eagles had a great performance for 60 minutes, and the in-game adjustments, and Hurts playing like he did a year ago, that's the first time you guys looked. That's the best the Eagles have looked since the Super Bowl. Okay? That looks like the team that we saw a year ago. And I mean for 60 minutes. I know, man. I think Donald's 275. I think he's 6 feet 275. Okay? I do. I think he's 6 feet 275, Aaron Donald. He's a little dude, man. He's a little dude. AJ Brown gets a game ball. Dallas Goedert, obviously, and DeAndre Swift. So let's take a look at some of these moves. Okay. And hey, what round? This is going to show you some personnel come to Jesus conversation. Niners are too physical and injuries will mount by December. Okay. What round was Opeta drafted in? Can you guys tell me that? What round was he drafted in? Watch this. He's a UDFA. Oh my God. Hold on. He's a UDFA. That's why Tyler Steen and Juergens got the look first, because they were drafted. They fell into this. They looked up and went, holy shit, we have another Jordan Mailata. Look at what you have in that old line, how it's been built. Isn't like Jason a sixth rounder? You got a seventh rounder in Mailata, a first rounder in Lane, a second rounder in Landon, and a UDFA. And these guys are all as good as one another? Fuck. Dude. Holy shit, is Jeff Stoutland. He's going to go down with Alex Gibb as one of the greatest offensive linemen in pro football history. That is unbelievable. He's 27. See, you got to remember something. When you're an old lineman, you can play until you're 37. And get this. So say he plays there the next 7 years. Then you have Steen and Juergens waiting in the wings to take the rightful positions at center and potentially right tackle. Hey, the Philadelphia Eagles are in good hands with Jeff Stoutland. He's the most important coach in your coaching staff, including the head coach. Wow. Well, hey, as of right now, watch this. The move off of Miles Sanders has been the correct one. The move off of TJ Edwards and Kaiser, I would be willing to do this. How you doing? Tell it like it is. We could take, I am. I would say this, yet to be determined. But before I was like, now I'm in this. It's gone more to the center. Well, let's see how it plays out here. The move off of Gardner Johnson has not been a good one. Okay? Now, I get it. Gardner Johnson's hurt in Detroit, but I'm talking about someone of that ability you don't have there yet. And your cornerback play on bringing Slay back may not have been the right move. Okay? You fell into Opeta now, who's clearly playing as good as anything that Isaac Seumalo did a year ago. So, in other words, what you've done, you kind of look like the same team as a year ago, but not yet. And I'll explain what I'm talking about. I was asked this question by 100 people today. You think the 49ers are better than the Eagles? I'm going to tell you here in a second. First, I want to look at that Niner game and what the Niners did to the Cowboys. Yesterday, Miles Sanders had 7 carries, 32 yards, and a fumble. Panthers 0-5. While the Eagles are 5-0, keep in mind the Panthers paid him big money. Yeah, $23 million over 3 years, about $6.5 million a clip. This guy's making $1.5 million on his lap. The problem is you're going to lose Swift. That'll be the problem. You're going to lose him in the offseason. But here, let's go here. 49ers held the Cowboys to 8 first downs. Look at this. The 49ers did to the Cowboys what you did to the Rams. 67 plays. They held the Dallas Cowboys to 49 plays. 251 to 140 in passing. Total yards, 421 to 197. This is a complete ass beating. 170 rushing to 57. Rushing attempts, 41. They played Eagle ball. Turnovers, 4 for the Cowboys, 1 for the Niners. What was your time of possession versus the Rams? Versus the Cowboys, they had 37.05. You guys had 37.55 versus the Rams. Still got the Cowboys winning the NFC. Thanks for reminding me and holding me accountable. I'll tell you that here in a minute. Brock Purdy, 17 of 24, 252, 4 touchdowns, 144.4 rating. Jesus. Okay, this guy's a leading candidate for the MVP. He's the leading candidate right now in the NFL for the MVP award. Nobody's playing better. And he makes $900,000. Dak, 14 of 24, 153, 1 TD, 3 picks, 51.6 rating. George Kittle, 3 catches. He had like a Goddard game, 3 TDs. And Dak Prescott makes $49 million. Today, 49ers are playing better ball. Watch this. And I want you to listen to my words when I say them. Today, today, the 49ers are playing better ball because they've played more consistent ball than you. Are they a better roster? Maybe. The quarterback conversation's closer now. And you know what's crazy about some of you out here? Why can't Brock Purdy do the same thing that Jalen Hurts has done by winning NFL fans over like Hurts did? Why won't you give him that latitude? Is it because he was the last player taken and you still have that stigma on him? Or why is it so you give Jalen on a 1 year on how he's played and 1 game really, and you're crowning him the best, but this kid has never lost a game and he's playing the best quarterback of anybody in the National Football League. But you won't give him that? Because why? You're Eagle fans. That's fine. But he's on the same ascent that Jalen was on. There's no different. And he didn't get a chance because of a great Eagle play in the NFC title game to prove whether or not he can win another playoff game. This guy in his first year won a playoff game. Okay? Well, GMAC goes, the Cowboys are garbage. Well, I think the Rams are good, but they're 2-3 also. Have you actually beaten a team with a winning record? So when you start saying that, have you guys beaten a team with a winning record yet? Just tell me a team that has a winning record right now that you've beaten. Tampa Bay, okay. So of the 5 wins, you got 1 versus Tampa Bay. Okay. Okay. So when you say the Cowboys are garbage, well, I'm not saying you guys have played world beaters, but like I said, I started the program out by saying the Rams are good. Furman goes, Sills, I'm all in on him. We just need a crack at. Hey, listen, here's where I go. And here, let's do this. How many people believe that the 49ers are playing better football than the Eagles right now? Stop it, Sills. Stop moving the goalpost. How many people think that the 49ers are playing better football than the Eagles right now? I can't wait to see this. I do. Wow. However, I'm going to say this to you, Eagle fans. That doesn't mean they'll be playing better than you in January. How much more confident are you in Desai's ability to adjust compared to Gannon? Because, hey, I was very encouraged by what I saw in that Rams game. Against Raheem Morris, that was a well-done job. Okay? Here's the thing. 49ers might be playing better ball right now, but here's what's happening. The 49ers are up here right now, right? I don't know if San Francisco could play any better ball. The Eagles are here. You're here at 5-0. They're here at 5-0. And they're already there. You're not even near playing enough consistent football for anyone to go like this. I'm more encouraged by Philly than I am about San Fran. I think San Fran's got a hell of a roster. And now that Purdy's looking like Purdy saved Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch's ass. I'm completely convinced on that guy. That guy has saved their careers. When this Eagle team starts gelling, none but themselves will stop them. The 49ers are at their peak. That's where I think. I think the 49ers are playing way up here right now. Okay? Kittle, McCaffrey, Ayuk, Debo, all in the last 3 years, Purdy, have had significant injuries that have slowed that thing down. The Eagles being slowed down is by position changes and coordinator changes. Am I right? The Eagles started shaky, but we are continually getting better and better each week. You are. That's my point. It's okay that the San Francisco 49ers are playing better than you. That doesn't mean they're better than you. We'll find out week 13. I'll tell you what, I think that's such a well-timed out game. You know why I think that's a well-timed out game? By week 13, barring any kind of significant injuries, I think the Eagle defense and the Eagle offense might be just humming like it was a year ago. And that's going to be a battle of the Titans. That's going to be a battle of the Titans. I mean, you got those are the two best rosters in the league. Those are the two best rosters in the National Football League. Okay? Two best. Hey, and by the way, who gives a shit if they're playing better ball than you now as long as you keep winning? I'll see you week 13. That's what Kelsey was talking about on the sidelines. Kelsey wasn't talking about the Rams. He was talking about us having to get better because we got games coming up that are going to test that metal. And if we're kicking field goals and the 49ers are sticking touchdowns in on you, you're going to lose those games. That's what he was bitching and complaining about. San Francisco is playing as good a football. They look like they're playing January football. Is that a good thing? I don't know. I sure would like to have these guys playing like that in January. Maybe they will. You guys went through 6 months of playing pretty great football. Maybe they could do it too. We'll see. But get this. There's more of an injury history with the Niners than there is in Philly. That's a great one, Ben. Ben said it right there, Tone. Ben, is that sustainable for 17 weeks? I don't know. How many times have we seen teams get into January, all of a sudden catch fire, and you go like this, holy shit, that team is really great. Right? All right. My boy Tone's going to join me at 3:30 Eastern. Also, Gary Cobb at 4:30. We're packed this week too, my friends. We are absolutely packed. We got Angelo Cataldi tomorrow. We got Phil Sims tomorrow. We got a boatload of people. Big Sills, that SOB Shanahan is calling the hell out of games, and Purdy's balling. Got to give those boys and Purdy credit. That December 13th matchup is shaping up to be a rumble in the jungle. Got to give him credit. Very good, Prince. Hey, Prince, what a better place to hold a professional prize fight than Lincoln Financial in Philadelphia. Holy shit, man. It's like Rocky. You're going to hold a professional prize fight at Lincoln Financial December 13th. Let's get it on, man. All right. Our good friends at Hooters. 7 locations in the Northeast area. I hope that you guys check it out. Here's our winners, too, right here. Mike Reyes and Don, congratulations to you. We'll start the process up tomorrow by giving out our gift certificates. Those are our winners for the week here. We'll start it up, go all the way through Friday, and each and every single football Monday, we give you the names of the winners in the 40th anniversary of Hooters. That's right. 7 locations in the Northeast area. You're going to love it. If you don't want to go into any one of the places, go to HootersToGo.com. That's HootersToGo.com. Try some of the great specials. Buy 10 wings, get 10 boneless free. Wing Wednesdays, a 40-year tradition, 1983. All you can eat. Kids eat for free on Saturdays. That's NortheastHooters.com. That's NortheastHooters.com. And when you go into any one of the Hooters, do me a favor, tell them Big Sil sent you.
Football and Hooters, the perfect pair.